All right, let's finish this game. It's gonna take, my guess is like 3 hours? Because like they roughly take like an hour and like a half per chapter. So this is probably gonna take like 3 hours to just finish. So that's great. All right, let's go. Chapter 11. Let's read. Last time Rika and Sadako were missing. Let me up the sound a little bit. There we go. All right, see you next stream. All right, later, Faye. Yeah, I know it's like 2 a.m. for you, right? So yeah, get the fuck out of here. And Shay, do whatever you want, I guess. I saw a ceiling I was familiar with. Wait, who? You. I said, Faye, get out of here. And Shay, do whatever you want. Though I was groggy from sleep, I did notice that I was in my futon like I was every morning. Shay, ban MOFS, please. Thank you. Alright, bro. Alright, bro. Get his ass out of here. You know what? Shay, time out Faye for 20 minutes. How would I ban the creator here? You'll figure it out. Figure it out. Yo, Shay, you just kick me from your server? That's what you do. That's equivalent to banning, bro. Oh man. I looked at my clock, and despite having turned in so late at night, I had awoken at precisely the same moment I always did. I was so low on sleep, but I guess you really can get up at the same time every day. The secrets of the human body never cease to amaze me. If I went back to sleep like this, I would definitely not be waking up again. I spurred myself on and slipped out of my futon. Mom asked me about last night at breakfast. Apparently, we too had gotten a call asking if we knew where Rika and Sadako were, and Mom vaguely understood that something serious was happening. So then, you were out last night with all your friends looking for them? Until about 3, I think. Yeah. Did you find them? Rika and Sadako, I mean? No. They still disappeared. They still gone. Crunch. I warily bit into my toast. It really didn't have any taste. Just then we heard the chime go ding dong. Okay. I looked at the clock and saw it was about 5 minutes past my regular meeting time with Rena. It was her at the door. Good morning. Did you get any sleep? Did you? I think I slept for a few hours. You could probably count them with a chicken's toes, though. Rena seemed pretty sleep-deprived as well. There was something missing from her usual spirit. Are you going to school? Yeah, I think it would be better that way, she said, smiling, albeit stiffly. Rena was probably worrying her heart out about those two as well. Even so, she wanted to go to school. Gotta keep that attendance record up. If you stay home today, I think you would just be worrying nonstop and sleeping. I don't want that. So let's go to school together. Alright. Wait just a moment. I'll get ready. I was just a little bit happy about Rena mustering that much consideration for me. My only thing is, like, what else could possibly happen in these 2 chapters, bro? Like, that's what I'm waiting for, to see what happens. We went to the place where we'd usually meet up with Mion, but she was nowhere to be found. We were a little late today, so we thought she'd be waiting for us. I guess Mion couldn't wake up today, huh? That's right. For her, it wasn't just yesterday. She was up all night looking for the mayor the night before to last, too. We waited for a bit. Time passed until it got to a point where it was just okay for us to go alone. And we exchanged glances. What do we do? Wait a little longer? At that point, my brain, which had finally been woken up by the morning air, recalled the ominous words Oishi had left me that last night. Leaders of the 3 families were disappearing one after another. Oh my god. And next, might be the Sonozaki's leader. Could Mion have... Nah, couldn't be. Couldn't be. Let's go. Let her sleep Let's let her sleep today. Yup. Rena gave me a pat on the back. Mion. She's still here, right? Hmm? Did you say something? Oh, nothing. I was just talking to myself. Let's get going. The two of us headed to school by ourselves. On the way, we saw a bunch of our classmates accompanied by their parents. It even looked like some of them were being taken to school by car. Yeah, they're probably like, they gotta make sure none of their kids get taken. That's what it is. Surprisingly, the principal was also standing watch at the school gate. I'd never seen that before. Good morning. Good morning. The principal was bowing to our classmates' guardians. The wooden sword leaning next to him was a little ominous. Maybara, good morning. Ryu, good morning. Good morning. Your teacher has something important to say, so head straight to the classroom. All right? Rena and I said nothing because, you know, we already know what the hell it was, you know? The madness that only existed at night had finally crawled out into the sunlight. That's what it felt like. Uh-huh. Good morning, everyone. The hushed conversations that had been spreading for a while now all disappeared like an illusion the moment our teacher walked in the door. Silence dominated the classroom. The principal came in with our teacher as well. This was clearly not a normal morning. First, the principal had something to say, important to tell everyone. Go ahead, Mr. Principal. The principal cleared his throat and approached the dais. I'm sure some of you already know this. The classroom was dead silent. Everyone was staring at Rika and Sadako's empty seats. The principal briefly and simply declared that Rika and Sadako had gone missing. There wasn't a single person in the classroom who didn't know, who didn't already know. There seemed to be many, however, who couldn't accept it as the truth. It had been confirmed to them now by the principal's words. There were sobs throughout the classroom, and I had heard a kid crying. Fucking grow up. They steadily spread throughout the whole room. The big-hearted principal wasn't able to keep his cool either. Okay, everyone, pay attention. From now on, your parents or guardians will be taking you to school. For those of you whose parents can't do so, you'll be coming here in groups. I made a handout, so read it carefully and be sure to show it to your parents. Understand? The teacher's voice was a little abrasive. Not even she could conceal the strain she felt from this unprecedented abnormal situation. They should have just canceled school today. Hey, but y'all needed to hear this at least. However, Rena told me that the school was also a nursery for the students whose parents both worked, so some of them wouldn't want school to be canceled, true? Well then, let's begin the lesson. Class president? Oh, she's absent, I see. Then whoever is on duty today, let me hear it. All rise. That feeling of wanting to maintain an everyday atmosphere, even if only in school, precisely because our lives had been messed up, was something that I agreed with at this point. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. As for the teacher who always had her lunch in the staff lounge, she ate in the classroom today. She had to laugh at her curry bento, which was just a rumor until now, but there was nobody to laugh with me. Rena brought her chair and lunch over to my seat. Today it was only the two of us. The fact that we didn't need to drag our desks any other desks together was sad. I'm sleepy. Yeah. I don't feel like sleeping anymore though. In fact, I'm jealous of the people that could sleep at a time like this. They've got nerves of steel. Yeah, I'd agree. I was sleepy this morning, but my drowsiness had dissipated after coming to school, and I constantly feeling incredible tension. Rena's bento box didn't have its usual luster. That was to be expected. Rena was up for a long time last night too. She wouldn't have had time to make her lunch beforehand. Since it's not like she would have gotten up early this morning. Grab anything you want. Go ahead and You can admit that my bento is better today. Oh, okay. Then I'll have some. Wow. A chikuwa roll. No idea. With perilla and cheese? That's interesting. Rena, yours might have ready-made food in it, but it's pretty good too. I realized the two of us were desperately trying to brighten the afternoon mood to its usual level as much as we could. I looked around the classroom, and it seemed like we were the only ones trying to do so, surrounded by all that gloominess. Yeah, I mean, two of your friends just fucking disappeared. Just the two of us are sharing our lunches like this. It's sort of, well, sort of like something. Huh? Sort of like something, guys. Yup. Like something. Our laughter grew quieter. I was the first one to mess up. Sorry. I mean, well, I'm sorry. Nah, it's okay. It's not your fault. Our chopsticks both stopped moving. We couldn't keep it up anymore. Rika, Sadako, I wonder where they went. Those words might have sounded too miserable. Everyone was thinking it, using roundabout ways to address the topic, but I came right out and said it. I heard Rena catch her breath. Gulp. Type shit. It's like, okay. Yesterday, while you were gone, I heard a bunch of things, so I'll tell you what I know, okay? Sorry again about last night. Go ahead. At that time, since they had arrived for support, Rena was helping the Ladies Society cook in the miso soup we'd had. Yeah, we're getting the ominous-ass music again. Okay. They reported all the information to the villagers had gathered, and Rena said she overheard it. They didn't know anything important, though, did they? Rika and Sadako went home after school and then apparently went somewhere on their bikes, but other than that, Mion had told me yesterday. We had no clues. Yeah, the police also said that they probably went out on their bikes to play somewhere as soon as they got home. If they were going out to play somewhere on their bikes right after getting home, then they might have gone into town. Then I guess they concluded they disappeared while in Okinomiya. The police were saying how they were going to expand their search to Okinomiya in the morning. Yup. In town. It makes sense why we couldn't find them even though we searched all of Hinamizawa. Then, still, something didn't fit. I had no basis for thinking that, just a gut feeling. I revealed something to Rika that was likely very important to her that day. It was likely very important to her that day. Then Rika had told me to leave it to her. And then, what do I say? Oh, right. If she didn't work hard, then something bad might happen to the dog too, I think. Well, with all that, the talk of dogs and cats, I still didn't have the faintest idea of what she really meant, but it might have been Rika's way of saying that this was a race against time. Damn. Damn it all. I'd selfishly pushed my anxiety onto Rika and tried to run away. When I thought about it, I shouldn't have run back then. I should have asked her more about the dogs and cats. Oh, fuck. I accidentally scrolled. The more I think about back on it, I really screwed up. I scrolled, bro. Like, the scroll wheel, like, just zooms through this shit. Anyway, I don't think Rika was in a situation where she would just go off to play somewhere. Of course, I didn't have any evidence or conviction to base that on. It was just a hunch. I don't think she'd go into town. You think so too, Keiichi? I agree. Rika and Sadako must have disappeared in Hinamizawa. I looked back at Rena, startled. I could hear the conviction in those words. Without replying to my gaze, she took her bento box and went into the hallway. I'm going to rinse this out. She timed that in a way that broke off the conversation. Suddenly, I got the feeling that the next thing she was about to say would be hard to say aloud in the classroom. I hurriedly grabbed my bento box and followed her. Rena didn't go into the kitchenette, but rather to the water fountains out back where students seldom went. The water flowed down into our bento boxes. During that time, Rena didn't say a word. Then after making sure there were no other students around, she finally opened her mouth to speak. The whole thing about Rika and Reno, Rika and Reno, what? Sadako going to town to play and then disappeared. That didn't make sense for some reason, so I decided to investigate a little bit by myself. Who did you ask? What did you ask them about? I asked the Lady Society all kinds of things. There was a lot of tofu in the miso soup yesterday, remember? The old lady from the Tomita tofu shop came too. The Tomita tofu shop. Oh, I remember. There was one of the stores on the road leading to the hospital. Those huge lumps of tofu dancing in the bathtub like cistern always looked nice and refreshing. The old lady says she remembers Sadako stopping to buy tofu there on her way home from school. Tofu? Well, it's on the way home, right? How is that a clue? Just listen. Do you remember when we went to Rika's house? Rena stepped away from the sinks and spread her arms wide to recreate the space of Rika's room. There was a pot on her gas cooker and there was miso soup in it. I think there was probably about half of it inside. The rest was in the refrigerator. They must have been planning to make chilled tofu. It was on the plate in plastic wrap. We're fucking detective working around here. Okay, okay. As Rena explained, she walked around as if she was really going through Rika's room. Still, Rika, or Rena, why does this matter? Keiichi, when you make miso soup, you put the tofu in last. That means that Rika or Sadako, whoever was cooking, was standing there making it up until before dinner time. Right up until dinner time? Wasn't everyone saying that their bikes weren't around, so they must have gone somewhere else to play by themselves? The trash in the countertop bin was put in there really awkwardly too. Rika makes most of their food and lunches, but occasionally Sadako does it too. So Sadako was cooking that night. So that means that Sadako at least didn't go somewhere to play. She was preparing dinner? Yeah. Then I took a look at the rice cooker and there was rice for two still in there. She made dinner for the both of them, but neither of them ate it. Is that it? Oh no. Rena nodded. So next I looked in the fridge. There was some chilled tofu made from the other half that they bought. That's not all either. There were a whole bunch of plates with side dishes for dinner, and all of them were in plastic wrap. You usually plastic wrap things so that you can have leftovers for the next day. My mom does it all the time too, using them in breakfast or lunch. Okay, that's right. You use plastic wrap to save leftovers for later. So the fact that they were in the fridge means that they didn't plan on eating them that night at least. Is that what it means? Keiichi, think a little harder. Their dinner was totally untouched and wrapped up. What do you think that means? Well, that means they didn't need to eat dinner anymore. So they would have gone out to eat or ordered takeout. It must have been really sudden too. If they had decided to do that beforehand, they wouldn't have made anything, but there was dinner for the two of them. That means that when Sadako was making their dinner, they really thought that they were going to eat it until right before they didn't. So then, the theory about the two of them going out to play and then disappearing is wrong. Yep. They disappeared after making dinner and right before they ate it. Probably around 7 o'clock. Where would they have gone at a time like that by themselves without eating? That's obvious. Obviously where this is leading. Keiichi, do you remember? On their fold-out table, there were things like soy sauce and a chopstick holder. There might have been something like that. I didn't remember. The container for the soy sauce, it was empty. There wasn't even a drop left. Chilled tofu wouldn't taste good without it. So I looked under their sink for a larger bottle of soy sauce, for the larger bottle of soy sauce I had. You sure know a lot about where they keep stuff. I've been to Rika's house and cooked for them before. Rena cleared her throat, her face returning to a serious expression. Then when I opened the cabinet, the big bottle of soy sauce wasn't there either. It wasn't there. What does that mean? Everything I'm going to say from here on out is Rena's idea, is just Rena's idea. So please listen until the very end without saying anything. Okay. Last night, Sadako was making dinner like normal. Rika usually watched TV until the food was ready, so she was probably lying down watching a variety show or something. Sadako put the tofu in the miso soup, and right when dinner was about to be ready, she noticed that they were out of soy sauce. So Rika, who had nothing to do, brought the big bottle of soy sauce to the neighbor's house to borrow theirs. Uh-huh. I don't really know my neighbors that well. Would people be really willing to just give her soy sauce? I mean, it's Rika. Yeah. It's not like that uncommon in Hinamizawa. Yeah, I thought so. Oh, she also told you to shut up, so don't do it. So Rika rode her bike out to get some soy sauce. No matter how long Sadako waited, though, Rika didn't come back. So then Sadako called up the house where Rika was going. Would Rika happen to be imposing on you? Something like that? Then the other person must have replied with something like this. We have plenty of food here, so you should come too, Sadako. Rika has already eaten. I think that's how they called her out there. Sadako called Rika a few names in private and wrapped up the dinner she had made her for them. She put it in the fridge and she could use it for breakfast and lunch the next day. Then Sadako got on her bike too and headed for the house where Rika was. This is all hypothesis, by the way. This isn't actually what happened. And for any of those curious. Okay, but this is already pretty strange. You don't normally make so much food that you can give it to people who suddenly arrived at your house. A veteran housewife would never normally make so much food that she could feed 2 extra people. Could it have been a coincidence that they made so much? It's still unthinkable. Rena flatly denied me. Since Rika knew that Sadako had worked really hard to make dinner that night, or for them, didn't she? No matter what kind of food she was offered, she wouldn't let Sadako's dinner go to waste. This was all only circumstantial evidence and Rena's guesswork. Even so, it was all extremely convincing. It was the only ray of hope we had to topple this situation before bereft the clues. Then Rena, where did Rika go to get soy sauce? That was the heart of it. It would have to be somewhere she'd be comfortable with asking for soy sauce, and somewhere Sadako wouldn't think it was suspicious that she'd been invited for dinner. So who was it? Rena slowly shook her head. That's all for Rena's guesses. These are all just ideas, okay? Keep them a secret from the police. Where is there to hide? What is there to hide? Even if only half of what you say is right, it should be good. Should be a good clue for all this. It's probably like Shion or Mion or something. That's probably what it is. I meant Mion. That's actually Yokechi. This all means suspecting someone from Hinamizawa. We can't suspect anyone who without a good reason, a really good reason. I saw a few girls coming over to rinse out their bento boxes. Haha. Rena cut the conversation short there and returned to the classroom. I stayed there alone, my body bathed in the light and the lively voices of cicadas. Let's think about this. In my own way, Rena had barely any information to go on, and yet she'd reasoned out that much. So there should be something that only I, who knew far more than Rena did, could deduce. Oishi said that last night too. This last night too, but this incident was definitely occurring in Hinamizawa, within Hinamizawa. Rena might not have wanted to believe it, but it's basically a given that the culprit is someone from the village. True. The trigger for everything was when the 4 of us trespassed in the forbidden storehouse. Somebody saw us going in there. For the culprits, breaking the taboo was a crime punishable by death. So that night, Tomitaki and Takano were sacrificed. There were 2 left. Shion and myself. However, before the culprits bore their fangs on Shion and me, they went after the mayor. to whom Shion had confessed her sin. Next, they went for Rika, to whom I'd confessed my sin to. Then what about Sadako? Just a stray bullet? By itself, Rika being sacrificed after I told her everything was mortifying. But Sadako, who was sacrificed for no reason, wasn't that all the more regrettable? Everything was my fault. Who would be the next to disappear? Would it be me? Would it be Shion or me next? And me next, I guess. Why? Why aren't the culprits going for Shion and me right away, though? If they had enough power to erase the mayor and Rika, then why not just go get rid of Shion and me? Yo, Shay, if you're still here, get rid of that guy. Then they not just get rid of Shion and me. If they went for us, well, I wouldn't like it, but I could still tolerate it. Yep. What I couldn't forgive was them getting rid of those who we confessed to. Now that I think about it, or think of it, yesterday Shion said something alarming. She said like someone was watching her. So then was someone watching me as well? Strangely though, I hadn't felt anything like that until now. Even though I'm the root cause of everything, I had never once had that impression. Maybe that was simply because Shion was more cautious than me, and I was just careless. That's another story though. Let's get back on track. All right. Why weren't the culprits going after Shion and me? It felt like that's where the key is to this lay. Could it be, was I making a big assumption that I shouldn't have been made or shouldn't have made? I thought and thought, but couldn't come up with an answer. The one thing I understood was that I was a concerned party to this case, and that I have a duty to watch out over it until everything got resolved. I heard the ring of the bell declaring the end of the lunch break. Would someone else disappear tonight? If nobody else did, then I wanted them to get rid of me tonight for sure, and then put an end to all this. Shion's hysterical voice on the phone last night came back to mind. They plan to murder those close to us first, and then make us as miserable as possible, and only then would they kill us. Meibara, lunch break is over. Go back to the classroom. At the principal's urging, I returned to the classroom, which was quiet as the streets at night. Yeah, of course it's only after, bro. Yeah, I got him, though. I got him out of here. I got him out of here, don't worry. Good thing he doesn't pop up on my, on, the stream, though. Good thing. Or the screen. There were a lot of parents picking up their children from school. It was just like kindergarten. The students whose parents didn't come went home as a group. We left school with everyone else following the assigned route. Even while leaving, nobody said anything funny. They all looked like exhausted mountaineers silently marching through the mountains. As we went, one left, and then another. And in the end, it was just Rena and me. I was supposed to escort Rena all the way to her house, but she declined. Will you be alright? It's not safe to go alone. It would just be dangerous for you to go home by yourself after bringing me back, Keiichi. It's still light out anyways. I'll be fine. I see. Then be careful, okay? Yeah. Huh? Isn't that a policeman? Rena pointed towards my house. That's fucking Oishi, bro. It's this fucking creature. There was a car stopped in front of it. Fom. I think that's the first spelling mistake I've seen in this thing. I think, yeah, that is probably the first spelling mistake I've seen in this entire thing. Or there's probably been a couple more, but it's like, that's the first one I've noticed, like, you know, like today. Or like recently. Fom. From out of the car came Oishi. He must have been waiting for my return to ambush me. Oishi started walking over after wearing that annoying grin. Rena, you should go. If you get involved with him, you'll be here for hours. But What did the policeman want with you? With you? Rena is a good person. Even when I made a fuss over Rika's disappearance, she never asked me why I did. She could have been suspecting me ever since then, and that would have been okay. Even so, she still hadn't asked me anything. She didn't try and pressure me into revealing the truth. I'm not the culprit, by the way. I know that. That said, I can't say I'm not totally uninvolved with this incident. Rena simply listened, smiling like she always did. Even though I had insinuated I was related to the incident, she didn't look at me as though I was looking at something, as someone looking at somebody dirty. You're a fucking weirdo. I'll tell you next time. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Get going then. Rena gave me a slight bow and trotted away, leaving me... Oh, wait. Oh, the space is that. Alone with Oishi, who walked over. Hello, hello. Welcome home, Ibara. Hello. It looks like your parents aren't here. Oh, my God. My Maya was in a bit of a spot. He came all the way to my house? I could only thank my good fortune that my parents were absent. Since neither of them was around at this hour, they would probably be back late. I think Dad got called out for business. I don't think he'll be back until later. I see. Well, that's convenient, I suppose. We can do this without giving your parents any strange ideas. That sounds very weird. That sounds very weird in the first place. Oishi pushed my back, prompting me to walk. It seems like he wanted me to get into the car. Are you taking me to the police station? I wasn't the culprit, but I was the cause of everything. It wouldn't be weird if you wanted to investigate me. That kind of gave me a resigned feeling. No, I just don't want to stand around talking. We can just talk in the car. That's all. Come on. Don't be shy. That's fucking weird. Fucking weird. He opened the back door and urged me inside. If I got in, I wouldn't have a very easy time getting out. If I said no, however, then this man might actually handcuff me and take me away. I couldn't refuse. I could only accept in good grace. The inside of the car had been cooled too much by the air conditioner, and there was a rusty smell coming from the filter, which must have been cleaned only rarely. Oh, is it too cold? I'll turn the car off. He turned off the engine, and it became quiet, and the voices of the Higurashi, with all their cool loneliness, snuck inside. Wah, 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 wah. It sounded to me like a chorus of voices lamenting my exorbitant punishment for having harbored such foolish curiosity. For a few moments, while listening to those words, I myself lamented the days that had been twisted and distorted since that day. Oishi, as if waiting for me to voluntarily begin talking, lit a cigarette and listened to the Higurashi. The silence became deafening, and I was the one who folded first. How is the investigation going? The investigation? Of what? There's been so many. Which do you mean? All of them. Well, alright then. They're officially secret investigations, and we're under a media blackout, but I'll let you in on them. I'll let you in the know. Then shall we start from the first incident? The freak deaths of Tomitake and Takano on the night of the Watanagashi. On this one, embarrassingly enough, we haven't made any progress at all. First of all, Tomitake, there are indications of his body that he was assaulted by a group of people, but we have no explanation for him clawing out his own throat and dying. We suspect an overdose from a stimulant or something, but we didn't detect anything. What about Takano? The same, we're in the dark. Autopsies for those who are burned to death are real tough. We believe she was doused in gasoline after she was strangled. That one falls under the Gifu Prefecture's police department. They haven't been very cooperative, even though it happened in our territory. Oh, that's not really relevant, though. So the police don't know anything other than the fact that the victims died inexplainably. Nonetheless, the times when the incidents occurred have been generally placed right after the festival ended. It's a bit uncertain in Takano's case, but the likely prospect is that she was murdered at about the same time as Tomitake, then dumped in the mountains in Gifu. Why would they bring a dead body all the way up to the mountains? They should have just brought Tomitake out there too. Oh my, Beibara, you're quite sharp, you know that? Of course, I do believe that is something we need to be attentive of. There are a bunch of other suspicious things, but this is about all I can tell you at this point. How about the mayor? Have there been any clues? Having exhausted the topic, I changed the subject. Otherwise, he might have turned the conversation on me. Okay. We investigated his movements on the day he disappeared. We didn't find anything that could provide any clues, but I'll tell you about it anyway. The mayor, Kichiro Kimiyoshi, apparently he was suffering from severe hemorrhoids. Damn, that sucks. People who've lived a long time have an unusual amount of pride, so the mayor hadn't been telling anyone that he was going to the proctologist at a certain university hospital in Shishibone. On the day he disappeared, he had an appointment with a checkup, so he went out first thing in the morning. Even I knew that big hospitals like university hospitals had a really long waiting time. Okay. Apparently people would get in line hours beforehand, even if they had an appointment. His exam ended at 1 p.m. After that, he ate a light meal in the hospital restaurant and passed the time reading a magazine. We know this because of a receipt we found in his wallet at his house. There was nothing suspicious at all about that. That day he had planned to go to a meeting in the assembly hall in the evening. He was supposed to return with plenty of time to spare, but while he was on the train coming back, there was an accident. Seems it delayed him a bit, and he only got back to his house right before the meeting was scheduled to start. His family witnessed a very hectic mayor leaving to go to the assembly hall at the shrine. What was the meeting about? He disappeared on the way back home, right? The 3 families and the essential members of town assembly were at the meeting. We think they were discussing how to deal with the serial freak death incidents that had happened again this year. So then, on his way home, the old man who had treated Shion like his own daughter, he was a dependable person who would encourage Shion whenever she felt pressured by anxiety, and yet, poof. Shion's painful voice struck me right in the heart. Huh? What's the matter? I was taken aback by how strange my own voice sounded. What was it that just surprised me? I squeezed my head with my hands to try and drag back out what I had only previously, or what I realized for a split second. Remember, Keiichi Maebara, you just realized something. Something important. The night of the Watanagashi. That was when everything started. That night, Takano and Tomitake died. The next morning, word of the incident has spread throughout Hinamizawa. Yup. They plan to talk about it during the evening meeting. The mayor, however, had an appointment at the hospital, and as planned, he went there without telling his family. Okay. He got a checkup at the hospital. Okay. Ate something. And then there was an unexpected delay on his train ride back. When he returned, the meeting had was already about to start. The mayor changed clothes, got on his bicycle, and hurried to the assembly hall at the shrine as fast as he could. Okay. From when he heard about the incident on the night of Watanagashi until when he showed up to the assembly hall, everything he was doing that day was done in secret. During that time, nobody found out that he went to the hospital alone. He ate alone. and he got on the train alone, that all meant he had absolutely no contact with anybody else. He couldn't have even called him. You couldn't have even called him on the phone. Okay, but what does that mean, Keiichi Maebara? What does that matter, Keiichi Maebara? Ah. Keiichi, what should I do? What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? Old man Kimiyoshi, I told him everything. I told him everything. I told old man Kimiyoshi everything. That night, I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse, also that someone saw us and was out to get us. Right. What then? Okay, we're running it back. Old man Kimiyoshi didn't get angry. He smiled and told me that I was properly sorry about it. There was no way I'd be demoned away. He was really smiling, and he told me to leave it to him. Ugh. Sweat burst out of my body like bullets. They became one long strand and slid down from my forehead to my nose and fell. Okay. What does that mean? So then, what does it mean? Exactly. Hey, Keiichi Maebara, no more playing dumb. When did she tell him? Shion said she learned of the incident from the phone call her father had made that morning. The mayor had left the house first thing in the morning for his appointment at the hospital. He didn't tell anyone where he was going. Nobody knew. Nobody about him going to the Nobody knew about him going to the university hospital. Furthermore, his train ride back to his house was delayed by an accident. So, as soon as he got home, he rushed out to the assembly hall. Then the meeting at the assembly hall began and continued until it was dark out. Then everyone left. Nobody saw him after the meeting was over. He just disappeared. Which meant, Maebara? Are you alright? If you're too hot, I can turn the air conditioner on. Another part of me was messing with my thoughts, demanding that I not think any further on that. My head was pounding violently, and the fluids packed inside it all blended together until nothing else made sense. It was just about to settle, yet it had been smashed and melted in the blink of an eye, no longer able to retain its shape. Maebara, are you in there? Yeah. Oishi lit another cigarette. There was yet another cigarette butt placed in the ashtray. Was it displaying the passage of time? Had my thoughts been frozen over for that long? I've tried to tell you everything I know. In return, feel free to tell me anything you want, Maebara. My mind had become a gigantic oozing mess. My brain felt like it had been totally minced by the blades of a blender, and I couldn't think. Now, don't clam up again. If there is any misunderstandings, I'd like to clear them up first. I don't think you're the culprit here or anything. Oishi gave his best attempt at an adult smile. Okay. I know the four of you snuck into the the storehouse that night. Everyone in the village heard rumors about it the next day. That in itself means we should take you in for trespassing, but that isn't the problem. It's what was inside. What was inside that made the people who snuck in there end up as sacrifices? There wasn't anything. As soon as I said that, I regretted confirming my presence there, but I knew it didn't matter anymore. Was there really nothing in there? I mean, everyone who went in is being sacrificed one by one even the mayor and Rika who switched the lock on the door were sacrificed. What was inside that could have caused such terrible things to happen? I was far too tired of keeping quiet about this. Perhaps that Oishi's goal all along. But perhaps that was Oishi's goal all along. But again, that didn't matter anymore. There was a lot of torture devices that were used a long time ago. I looked around at them with everyone. Was that really all? That was really all. There was nothing terrible in there that would make you keep silent, like a pile of psychoactive drugs. Maybe a secret puppy workshop. Perhaps there was a mountains of Soviet or Chinese handguns. There weren't any suspicious wooden boxes or containers packed in there. There was nothing as exaggerated as what Oishi was hoping for, but I felt like in a way there were plenty of terrible things hidden in there. From the perspective of someone who viewed the storehouse as sacred, whether or not I thought it had seen some crazy things that didn't matter in the slightest. The four of us broke the taboo. Punish us. That should have been what happened. We put in a request for a search warrant, thinking that there might have been some secrets hidden in the storehouse. It's been the sabotage of a century. They said it would be an insult to religious figures and something about the right to free religion in the Constitution. Jeez. That's why I really didn't have any other resource but to ask you. Since you went in there, there really was just old, rusty, dusty torture equipment. Nothing else stood out. Then Tomitake and Takano were only killed as a punishment for having broken the taboo. I didn't have an answer for the only part. I suppose I won't bother hiding it anymore. You're the only one to escape harm so far. Everyone but you has disappeared, and yet you alone are safe. What's the difference between you and them that would protect you but bring harm to others? That's what I wanted. Wait, so does that mean Shion's gone? There was something wrong with what Oishi was saying. You alone. You alone. What? Wait a second. What do you mean by you alone? I'm saying that you alone have been left alive, right? Out of the 4 people who tiptoed into the storehouse for ritual implements, I mean? The only one left alive. Hold on. Shion was still... Jiro Tomitake and Mio Takano died that night. Shion Sonozaki disappeared the next day. Only you are still safe and sound at this point. Why only you? I'm saying that's what I want to know. Shion disappeared? That's impossible. I unintentionally raised my voice, but I didn't care about that. Tomitake died. Takano died. And Shion disappeared? When did she disappear? What is this guy talking about? Oh, well, now, I thought you were long since aware of this. This is the first time I've heard of it. Shion disappeared when? Well, going back a bit, she disappeared the day after the Watanagashi. So who the fuck has he been talking to on the phone? Who the fuck has he been talking to? What the fuck? Going back a bit? Stop saying stuff I don't understand. Shion Sonozaki spends the night at the relatives' houses depending on her mood on any given day, so no one thought much of not knowing where she was. She frequently takes days off from school too. Her teacher has been pretty troubled by it. I didn't ask about any of that. I'm asking you when she disappeared. I told you it was the day after the Watanagashi. The fluids in my body all reverse direction. Yeah, because who the fuck was you talking to on the phone? I lost all sense of balance, and everything I could see started to warp and twist out of shape. I simply couldn't endure it. Hang on. Hang on. Shion had already disappeared? Then, that night, that phone call, who was that? She called me every night. She encouraged me. We vowed that we would do our best to live on and not be erased. Yeah, should have been a phone call with Shion. Should have been a phone call with Shion. She took breaks from class like it was nothing, and her family wouldn't listen when I told them, so I didn't bother calling the school in the end. So it ended up taking quite a while before we realized she disappeared. I felt a stabbing pain, like my needles were being pushed into the back, into every part of my body. Okay. What the fuck? And began spreading throughout the rest of me. When I had completely covered the surface of my skin, it began to worm its way inside my stomach as well. Don't you remember? We talked about at the library the day after the Watanagashi. Shion was there. Then, that was the last time we saw her. No one knows where she has been. That can't be. That day, Oishi had only caught me, and Shion bounded away, lying that she needed to go to work. Didn't she call me that night? Her job was at at a restaurant called Angelmore, right? She hasn't been there since that day. She's been completely absent ever since. The person at the restaurant couldn't get in touch with her. He was really worried. That can't be. It can't be. It's only circumstantial evidence, but after she left us at the library, but before she made it to work, I think it's appropriate to consider her having disappeared during that time. Right after Shion ran away without me? It seems that you didn't know. Maybe if you had something earlier, this would have gone more quickly. If you had said something earlier, this would have gone more quickly. Now you understand, right? You're the only one left. You're the only survivor of the 4 people who slipped into the ritual storehouse. It couldn't be. Why don't you just say? Why isn't he just saying that I was talking to her on the phone? I don't understand why Keiichi's being so fucking stupid. Just say something. Because, like, since she's gone, you can talk now, buddy. Like, oh my god. Say something, bro. It just couldn't be. If something else happens, it would happen to you. I need you to understand that, Maebara. It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. Say it, bro. Words, use them. My god, bro. This shit's annoying me, bro. Shion had already disappeared? That couldn't be. That couldn't be. I talked to her the day before yesterday. I talked to her last night. She was going to call me today. That was Shion on the phone. Shion on the phone. It was Shion from Shion. Shion has long since disappeared. Next will be you. Then who was on the phone? Why don't we fucking ask? Why don't you tell him that? This is pissing me off. Like, tell him. Tell him. My goodness. Who was on the phone those last few nights? Who was on the phone these last few nights? It can't be. Dude, this shit is. Just tell the motherfucker you were talking to Shion on the phone. My goodness. Like, at this point, fucking hiding shit doesn't matter, bro. This dude's this no fucking Keiichi pissing me off. And you didn't fucking tell. Ooh, I'm getting fucking annoyed, bro. Just tell the guy, bro. Fuck. I lay down on the couch and stayed there days for a while. My mind was completely blank. I couldn't think about anything for more than a few seconds. There was a note in my house saying that Mom and Dad would be home late and then I should have some ramen or something for dinner. I could make it whenever I got hungry, but I had no appetite. So I just stared blankly at the ceiling without eating anything. The hands of the clock were already pointing at 10. Would I get another phone call like that day? Even though Shion had already disappeared? Would she still call me? Where were they calling from and who are they? Again, should have just said that to fucking Oishi, dumbass. God, this motherfucker pissing me off. The more I thought about it, the more I started to tremble. Even though I even thought about just disconnecting the phone line. If I had been thinking a little less logically, I really would have done it too. Hold on, Keiichi Maebara. Oishi admitted it himself, didn't he? That Shion went missing a lot. Couldn't she just have been gone to her relatives that Oishi didn't know about and have been there ever since? Jesus fucking Christ, this guy's pissing me off. Shion and I were both being targeted by somebody, so it wouldn't be strange to think that she went somewhere she usually didn't in order to hide. That must have been why Oishi couldn't locate her. Yeah, fucking coping, bro. Coping mechanism, bro. Lie to yourself. And why he labeled her as a disappearance. Yep, that had to be it. Straight cope. Shion hadn't disappeared at all. Then my right hand moved on its own violently and slapped me on the cheek. Its cold sting let me calm down a little. That motherfucking shit pissed me off. Fuck. Don't just convince yourself of the most convenient possibility, Keiichi Maebara. I knew I didn't want to admit she had disappeared. Admitting it would mean that something terrifying was definitely happening. I just needed to figure out whether Shion was on the phone or not. Would I ask her if she was actually Mion? That seemed like an incredibly absurd thing to do. Still, don't run from this, Keiichi. If the person on the other end still believed that I thought she was Shion, then that gave me a tiny advantage. Casually, keeping it completely casually. I would listen to what she had to say and fend her off. I would tear the skin off the monster. It would definitely be really scary for me. However, as a last survivor of the people who went into the storehouse at night, this was my only duty. Still then, who would call me and pretend to be Shion? I may have only ever heard her over the phone, but her voice shouldn't be that easy to replicate. That was definitely Shion's voice. It sounded just like her. It could have only been Shion. There was someone, though, wasn't there? Someone who sounded just like Mia or Shion? Mion. Who else could have done this? At this point, seriously, after all this time, all those little things that didn't quite make sense about Mion until now overwhelmed my mind. Like being questioned about sneaking into the ritual storehouse, and now she shook the ladder. And how she shook the ladder, spouting curses. Who else? Who else could have? Why though? Why would Mion? I thought back to the things about the Sonozaki family, and I had heard from Oishi and Shion. Yeah, that Mion's a freak. Mion was always entangled in the incidents, in a position where she was omnipotent. Some of that information, including the things that Shion had told me about after she disappeared. I madly scratched at my head. Courage, give me the courage. Just a little bit of courage to pick up the phone. I know it will ring tonight. It would be so easy to run away. That, though, would be the same as making it easy for them to erase me. Yup. Oh my god, oh my god. I cannot run. I must stand and face it. After all, the next sacrifice would definitely be me. I was sure Shion would use tricky words to try and trap me. Be careful, be careful. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. Ring, ring. Yup. At that point, it rang. The phone rang and I didn't know where the call was coming from. Shion had disappeared. Disappeared a long time ago. Disappeared the night I left her to the Watanagashi, yet until today, she had been calling me like nothing happened. Not again. Now again, tonight. The people that had disappeared, their corpses simply haven't been found. Yeah, I really didn't think they were alive. So if it really was Shion on the other end, then did that mean she was calling me from another world? Of course that couldn't be, because that doesn't make any sense. A living being was calling me, pretending to be Shion. Shion was long gone, and yet, as though she were alive and well, the phone continued its incessant ringing. I don't want to pick it up if I don't have to, if I didn't have to. I just concluded, though, that not doing so wouldn't solve anything. Then, what would I do after I answered it? Would I immediately declare she wasn't Mion and ask who she was? Alternatively, if I would pretend I was still fooled and try to grab her by the tail, that would probably be the safest thing to do. What I was most afraid of was that the person on the other phone, would do what they would do when she realized I knew she wasn't Shion. Well, answer the fucking phone. However, as long as I continued to let her think I wasn't fooled, I was fooled that she wouldn't do anything extreme, right? If I just make sure to be careful, that should be the safest option. Yep. I've made up my mind. I'll answer the phone. Once I do that, I'll talk to her as if nothing happened. Yeah. That wasn't all I'd do this time, though. I'd scope her out. Yeah. Who she was. What was she thinking? And what she was after. Oh, yeah. Because I'm like that. Why was she doing this? Was she really the one who killed Tomitaki and Takano? What happened to the mayor? What happened to Rika and Sadako? I reached out to the receiver and my arm trembled. There was too many things I wanted to know, too many things I wanted to ask. I was scared. I should start picking up the phone. Pick it up, Keiichi. Pick it up, Keiichi. Hello? Oh, how relieved I would have been if it hadn't been a call from Shion. Keiichi? It's me. It's Shion. My momentary convenient and above all fleeting prediction was ripped into 1,000 pieces. I couldn't help shaking at this point. Get ready for this. You took a long time to pick up. I thought you weren't home, and I was about to hang up. Sorry, I was just in the bath. Did your family not pick up for you? Could your parents be out right now? Keiichi? See? That's a... Okay. So are you alone right now? Bro. Uh... You should say, no, I'm not alone. But, like, then they'll know it's, like, not true. They'll know it's a lie. This is just bad, man. I failed. I let her in on a fatal piece of information that I was currently the only one at my house. Yup. Well, no, they're not really. Anyway, have you heard about Rika and Sadako? No. What happened after that? Were they found? Nah, they weren't found. Keiichi, please don't lose hope. If Oichi hadn't let me know, then I might have allowed myself to shed a tear or two at Shion's considerate words. Instead, now that it had come to this, I couldn't take her words at face value. This person on the other end of the receiver, the more perfect a Shion they were, the more my blood curdled in fear. Rika and Sadako, they were kidnapped, weren't they? Yes, I don't think there's much doubt. Just how cruel and grave a meaning did those words hold? Their weight astonished me, and then a moment later, I was overcome with numbness and felt like I would pass out. I had asked if Rika and Sadako had been kidnapped. Shion, in turn, had answered that there wasn't much doubt. That cruel meaning behind her words. Rika and Sadako were... Oh, no, I mean, I'm sorry. About the mayor. What do you think happened after he was kidnapped? Do you think he's still alive? What happened to Rika after they got kidnapped? That's what I wanted to ask, but I frantically caught myself. What if she had given that question? What if she had given that question a terrifying response in such a way it sounded like it had nothing to do with her? I was scared of that, so I immediately brought up the mayor. That said, however much... Okay. That said, however much I talked about the mayor, I think he was killed. Hey, wait. That was quick. I think it must be really hard to kidnap someone and keep them like they are. As long as they're not hostages, it would be much more most practical to kill them once you were done with them. The world started to bend so much I almost lost balance. The scenery in my eyes whirled around and like the hands of a clock, and tried to swallow me whole from below. I frantically put a hand on the wall to support myself. A moment later, a severe nausea welled up within me. How was she saying such things so lightly? Kill them so readily? I mean, what's a human life or two anyway? It's a horrible thing, but I think that's probably what happened. If the mayor was killed, then did that mean the same had happened to Rika and Sadako? Also, this music does not match what's going on. Like, yeah, it's like a little distorted, but that's kind of it. No, they couldn't have some random old man. They weren't some random old man. It was Rika. It was Sadako. They couldn't kill them so readily. It's probably better to think that Rika and Sadako ended up the same way. Whoa! Those were the words I wanted to hear the least, and I fought them back with a scream of my own. Even though it wouldn't change anything, I still couldn't help but scream. Ah! This time the tears flowed. I'd been confronted with the most horrific outcome that I'd been trying to avoid considering ever since last night, and I cried. There was no longer any doubt that it was my fault. I killed them. I killed Rika and Sadako. I succumbed to the weakness in my own heart and confessed everything to Rika. That's why they were killed. That meant I killed them. When Rika looked at me with those innocent eyes, if only I hadn't given in. I. Even my voice gave out, and yet still I cried and cried. Kei-chan, please just try to calm down. Alright, last time I'm saying fucking Kei-chan ever. Rika and Sadako, they've been killed. We couldn't even find their remains. I would never be allowed to even apologize to their faces. If that was to be my punishment, then how brutal a punishment it was. I think SHION tried to comfort me, but I didn't hear any of it. What are you going to gain by doing that? They're definitely going to target you or me next. Please, I'm asking you, get a hold of yourself. Please, please. SHION was shouting, imploring me with a voice that sounded like tears were in her eyes. However, I was coming to hate the sound of that voice more and more. This SHION killed them. I had no doubts that this person killed them. Why? 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 Why kidnap someone and kill them? Screw curses. The people's lives really that cheap? Erasing them and killing them without a second thought like this? You're right. You're absolutely right. It would be like it would take a demon. Big demon time. It felt like crushing the receiver. I felt like crushing the receiver in my hand. How long did this person plan on acting like it was someone else's problem? There was magma in the pit of my stomach, and it felt like it was going to erupt at any moment. Hey, SHION, please tell me. Why did Hinamizawa start needing someone to die on the night of the Watanagashi? That's what I'd like to know. The fighting over the dam project was already over and done with. Haven't enough people have been cursed already? Why is it? Why? If there's a reason, then say it now. I was incoherent at this point. My emotions had broken through the dam inside me, rushing forth, and I couldn't stop them. These were not simple questions. This was an interrogation. SHION herself hadn't realized it yet. It was just too funny. It was so funny that I couldn't stop crying. I understand how you feel, Keiichi. I really do. The damn wars ended a long time ago, yet murders and disappearances kept happening every year under the guise of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Why? Why is this happening? Why? Some of them had nothing to do with this, and some of them didn't deserve to be cursed. So why? Why? That's what I'm asking you. I want to know as much as everyone else. Both of our ragged breaths could be heard over the phone. Listen, Oyashiro-sama's curse never existed. It's too unrealistic. Just like you said, someone in the village is using the grand name of Oyashiro-sama's curse as a justification for continuing these murders and disappearances of every Watanagashi. They are very cunning. They've been using the curse as a convenient tool and made a system where they would get rid of 2 enemies in the village every year. And this year, that system killed Takano and Tomitake. Then why wasn't it enough? Why did the mayor and Rika and Sadako have to get killed too? I don't give a shit about the past. The only thing I care about is why Rika and Sadako were needed to be killed. Why is that? I didn't say a word to Sadako, you know. Why even her? Why? A silence fell between us. SHION didn't answer for a while. Keiichi, please, stop being mean. A sob. Was SHION crying? I don't have any idea what's going on either. Everything's changed when we went into the ritual storehouse that night. It was the same for me. As I listened to SHION's bittersweet, no, there's no sweet there, bitter weeping, I could feel my agitation subsiding. When I heard that Tomitake and Takano had been killed that night, I doubted my ears. Then I realized it instantly. I realized what sort of position I was in now. The 4 of us snuck in there. Keiichi, you and I won't be so conveniently forgiven. When I thought about that, it made my chest so tight. It was so terrifying. You know that feeling, Keiichi, don't you? There was nothing fake about her words. She'd even understood how I felt. That's why I confessed everything to the old man Kimiyoshi. All of us entered the forbidden storehouse. It was just a little bit of fun. We knew we shouldn't have done it, but it was just a little bit of fun. It was only a bit of exploration, that was all. Takano and Tomitake, who went in with us, were killed shortly afterward. They met such miserable ends. Since that day, I've been living in fear of when I would be attacked. There was nobody except Old Man Kimiyoshi who would help me, so I asked him to save me. Old Man Kimiyoshi, he wasn't mad. He smiled and he said, "If you're really sorry, Shion, then you'd never be demoned away." He really did smile at me, and he told me to leave it to him. Shion cried bitterly, recalling the beloved mayor's death. It was such a sad voice that none who heard it could prevent it from twisting their hearts. Again, I let my emotions. Did I let my emotions take over and go off at her? Shion was in the same situation as me. She should have been my one and only comrade. Thump. My heart pounded. My early self, deep within me, within my mind, whispered to me, "Don't forget Keiichi Maebara. Don't forget about the mayor in the morning of the Watanagashi festival." He was told of Takino and Tomitake's death over the phone and committed to a meeting that evening. He even went to the hospital appointment. He didn't tell his family. He'd only made it back just in time for the meeting. He went straight to the assembly hall. That's what Oishi said. When did you let the mayor know? Huh? I'm sorry, Shion. It must be like I'm kicking you while you're down, but Shion, you told him, right? You told Old Man Kiyoshi, the mayor? Yeah. When did you let him know? Cause, yeah. I'm trying to investigate. I'd begun to get scared of saying it out loud after hearing her sad voice. I wasn't saying it was contradictory though. Besides, it was if there was a contradiction, then I wanted Shion to explain it to me. Did you know that the mayor had a severe case of hemorrhoids and had gone to the hospital for treatment? Keiichi, what does that have to do? Please answer me. If you didn't know, then just say so. There was a momentary silence, and after that, stammering a few times, she replied, "I knew that. He had hemorrhoids. It looked like sitting down was really painful for him. He was going to the hospital. You know which hospital, right?" "I'm sorry. I don't know that much, but..." "Keiichi, what does that have to do with?" Shion didn't know what hospital the mayor went to. That meant it was impossible for her to have gone all the way to the hospital to confess everything. Since she didn't know his destination, then she obviously couldn't have seen him on the train either. If there was any other chance for her to contact him, it would have been after he came to Hinamizawa. The train, however, had been delayed, and he only got back right before the meeting was about to start. He didn't have time. There wouldn't have been enough time for him to listen to Shion spill the beans. I want to ask you straight, Shion. When did you tell the mayor about everything? When and where? Your answer don't have to be precise, but please give me one. Keiichi, why are you asking that? Her sob pierced into my ears. I was taken by the illusion that I was bullying her. Even so, I'll say it. If I'm wrong, then please correct me. Please prove to me that you're the real Shion, please. It was impossible. The day the mayor disappeared, from dawn until he vanished, there was no opportunity for you to contact him. The mayor left first thing in the morning for his examination at the university hospital, all by himself without telling anyone. I'm taking a sip of water. Fuck. Holy shit. Yep. Shion, you just said that you didn't know what hospital he went to, so you couldn't have contacted the mayor until he got back. Is that right? His train back was delayed by an accident, and he didn't return to his house until the meeting was about to start. So there was no time for you to have told him before the meeting started either. I heard Shion repeating her weak sobs. That sort of feminine voice automatically ripped into my heart. It was so painful for me to say it. Shion, did you go to the meeting too? Did you attend it and tell him there? If you didn't, then there wouldn't have been any time left. After the meeting was over, the mayor disappeared on his way home. Shion went to the meeting, didn't she? Did she or didn't she? The question was so simple to answer, but she didn't give me an immediate response. Actually, the meeting, you even go to the part-time job you said you went to that other day. I'll say it more directly. You haven't been since we were at the library together. Keiichi, Shion Sonozaki disappeared the day after the Watanagashi. The other end fell silent as the grave. It was so quiet that it was like the phone cord had been ripped out. I couldn't sense anyone there. Oishi says that you've been missing. Despite that, you've been calling me every night like this, haven't you? Shion's sobs were torturing me. Still, I'm pretty sure I haven't said anything wrong. Please, Shion. If something has happened, please say so. Shion, I'm begging you. Yep, you know, the sobs. Shion, there's no way you could have seen the mayor, but if you did see him, if Shion ever did have the chance to meet him at the meet with the mayor on that day, then that meant that you saw him after the meeting. In other words, it could have been right before he disappeared, or else afterward. Yup. Yo, what the fuck? Maniacal laughter now. Yeah, I'm not doing all this. All right. It's the whole screen. All right. Up. Beep. Beep. Went the dial tone. I stood there dazed for a while until I realized that she had hung up on me. Well, time to call the police. But I don't think they're gonna get there in time before she does. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. You're basically fucked right now, Keiichi. No lie. No lie at all, bro. Yup. All right. That's something. That's something indeed.